Hello, my fellow library patrons, and welcome back to Who is Library for all things books and education. Welcome or welcome back. It's lovely to meet you, and it's great seeing you again. If you're new here, my name's Desiree, and I love diving into books and topics that challenge perspectives, spark conversations, and highlight marginalized voices. All right, patrons, grab your tea, grab your snacks, and your cozy blankets because we're talking 2025 reading goals. So I'm going to start off with what I learned in 2024 that I'm taking into 2025, and there's two parts to this. What I learned in regard to content creation and what I learned about my relationship with books and reading. So in regard to content creation, last year was my first year where I really started focusing on reading and making content out of it. Side note, on the 16th of January was my first official year on YouTube, which is crazy to think that it's already been a year. Wild. Time flies so fast. But thank you all for being here and joining me on this journey so far. So I went into this whole, YouTube and social media surrounding books with just the goal of simply flexing my creative muscles. I needed a creative outlet, and I was like, I like reading. I like editing videos and taking pictures and things like that. Let me merge these two together and see how it goes. And so far it's been fun. It's been challenging, but it's been fun. I'll be honest, there is a small part of me that was, that's hoping that I can make money off of this, but that's not the intention in going into starting all of this, starting this journey. So I wanted to ease my way into things, as to not overextend myself or take on more than I can. What is it? What's the saying? Don't bite off more than you can chew. Yes, I didn't want to bite off more than I can chew, which I tend to do, yeah, in my personal life. So constant lessons to be learned. There were times where throughout this journey where I felt this pressure to perform with, getting caught up in the likes and the views and the follows and all that stuff, which I think is common when it comes to content creators. I've at least seen others talk about their experience surrounding this. But in retrospect, the pressure came from myself. Okay. I think there's this saying that like you are your worst critic, and that's true, or your worst enemy or something like that. Whatever the case may be, the pressure came from me, and I'm in control of my actions and what I do. And if I need to reel it back a little bit or just reflect on why I'm doing this, then yeah, which is kind of what I'm doing now. But yeah, there were even times where I took social media breaks where I just went ghost on social media. I didn't post, I didn't check anything because it just became really overwhelming, which I've done before. I've done social media breaks before, like making content, but the added pressure of feeling like I had to post all the time, it was just overwhelming. I felt overloaded. It was too much. Thinking about what's the next video I'm gonna make, like what's the post upload and things like that. And I also think that I felt this pressure because I never really had I had intentions, but I never really had goals or like a schedule or a plan. To be completely honest, I just was like I just jumped in the deep end without waiting in the shallow end first. So I'm reevaluating my relationship with content creation, my intentions behind it, and then I'm going to focus more on making plans to ensure that I don't overextend myself, but I'm also doing things that I enjoy. And again, through this reflection, I'm realizing that this channel and like my other social media accounts is a creative outlet, but also a chance for me to connect with other bookish people like yourself, and just really talking about books and other topics that I like to talk about with the hope that I at least connect with one person. Again, if I make money, cool. If not, also cool. Because at the end of the day, this is my journey, and I'm holding myself accountable. And the cool thing about making videos and stuff like that is that I can look back at these videos and see how far I've come, kind of like a time capsule. Pretty cool. With the added bonus of hopefully building a community. With all that being said, my first goal that I'm setting, holding myself accountable, is to upload at least 2 videos a month, which I mean, hello, second video in January, check that box. Also, shameless plug, check out my previous upload where I go over my 2024 reading goals and my top 10 picks. But But yeah, doing it this way, I think I will still find joy in reading without the pressure to perform like I was experiencing last year. Again, thank you all for being on this journey with me so far. All right, so next I want to talk about what I learned about my relationship with books and reading. So last year I read 78 books out of my goal of 100. Okay, that's still good. You know, I'm still proud of myself for doing that. However, okay, I do remember speed reading through a lot of the books and just not really enjoying them. Even though I did tell myself that I was not going to like beat myself up if I didn't reach 100, which I didn't. However, I still felt during like some of my reads and throughout last year the goal of 100 books like looming over me, and it reflected in my actions and how I read books and interacted with reading. In addition to reading fast to reach a goal, I also found myself buying a lot of Kindle and physical books, which most still remain unread, which I'm sure we all are guilty of. Overconsumption in the bookish community is a topic for another day. But this year, I will focus more on self-control and utilizing my resources like Libby. Honestly, I'll admit, okay, I was very influenced by like all the pretty bookshelves on TikTok and all the book hauls and things like that. But no, we are honing in and we're focusing on self-control and utilizing our resources, our free resources. All right, so now we're going to get into my 2025 reading goals. This year, I focused more on the types of books that I want to read instead of the number. I still have a number that I want to reach, but like I was saying, I'm really focusing on the types of books that I'm seeking out. Okay, so first we have reading 60 books total, reading 5 Toni Morrison works. This isn't including the one that I read last year. Next we have N.K. Jemisin, reading all of her books. Reading 5 bell hooks. Again, this doesn't include the ones that I read last year. Reading, actually, no. I don't think I've read bell hooks. I'm currently in the middle of 2 of her books, so I'm making headway. Okay, next we have read 3 Octavia E. Butler. Again, that doesn't include the ones that I read last year. 2 nonfiction and 2 fiction by James Baldwin. Now, I picked him specifically because I haven't read any of his pieces, but a lot of people that I follow reference his work and just how he's a very influential figure in our space, right? In our time, especially for the Black and queer community. And then I'm going to read 5 nonfiction books. I'm going to read, hold on, let me go back. I'm reading 5 nonfiction, put that back on my list because I read 0 last year. Okay, next is reading 700-page book. So the reason I did that is because last year I had a goal of reading an 800 plus page book, but the longest book I read was like 646 pages or something, so I figured 700 was a middle ground achievable. And lastly, read 5 unfinished series. I have at least 10 unfinished series. I've read either the first or second book and I didn't finish the last book. I think One Dark Window, the Broken Earth trilogy, I think Little Thieves, I don't know. Children of Blood and Bone, Legendborn, like the list goes on. So we're gonna focus on look at that, that was 5 right there. Right? We're gonna try and finish at least 5 of those series this year. Those are my goals for this year. We'll see how it goes, but I am looking forward to this new adventure. Let me know in the comments if you learned anything from 2024 that you're taking into 2025. It doesn't have to be book related. Or do you have any goals in 2025, any bookish goals for 2025? Or you just go with the flow kind of person? I'm curious. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow bookish people. And I will see you in the next one. Deuces! That was funny.